Hi, I'm Michael Mosolino, and welcome to a Culinary Experience. Today we're at the deli counter in Southampton on Hampton Road, and this is going to be a leftover show. Previous show we had made wonderful polenta bolognese. So we're going to take today now and we're going to make that same bolognese and we're going to change it up. We're going to do a few other things with it. I love lasagna just about as much as anybody else. I love it baked, where it's baked and it's crusty around the edge. And I love it just plain and simple as a one portion thing. So that's what I thought we'd do today. We'd do a couple lasagnas that are open-faced, just out there for people to just look at and take. It's interesting, so we'll do that. And then later on, we're going to get into a little leftover artichoke. So to start with, I have our bolognese sauce that we had made with our polenta, and we're going to go and we're going to use the leftovers. There's a lot of leftovers in our houses that we got to use, so let's get creative. I've got a little steam bath there in case I need it, because I'm going to be using fresh pasta sheets and a little saute pan. Where I'm going to start with is a little olive oil. Saute pan, and just a little bit of garlic. I use garlic in everything. It's going to keep me alive to be 102, at least. Don't need a lot of garlic. I just smash it, give it a fine, fine dice. So I'm prepping up for an open-faced lasagna. And I think we'll make a couple different kinds. We'll do one with a sausage bolognese, and I think we'll do one, maybe a 4-cheese lasagna. So here we have a little fresh spinach. Ooh, the oven is ready. If you could just turn that timer off, it's a top dial. Just turn the top dial and we're ready. That tells me my oven is warm, because what we're going to do is we're going to set up our plate of our open lasagna, and then we're going to flash it in the oven just to get the cheese running down and get that presentation. When I cook, and especially for this show, which is nothing you don't know, you've been with me for years, I set everything out on a table like this. Like I have, if I change my mind, I have asparagus and I have mushrooms and I have yellow squash, I have zucchini, peppers, bread, mushrooms, spinach, cilantro. I have everything at my fingertips. This is what I think is so great in our kitchens, and I recommend it's the best way to do it. I see some people that go to the refrigerator all the time and get this and get that. It's all right here. You can change your mind, do what you want. So I have beautiful spinach. It's pre-washed and wonderful. Right in my olive oil with a little bit of garlic. And I'm just going to saute it or sweat it very lightly. Okay? Throw it in there. Let me show you my fresh pasta sheet. This is a fresh pasta that comes to you. You can get it just about anywhere today. You can certainly stop by the deli counter, any of the gourmet markets. You can probably get it in some of the better markets in the frozen section. And it's really, truly just nothing but a fresh pasta sheet that's pre-cooked. And by pre-cooked, I mean they take the pasta sheet and they cut it, and they blanch it in a water like that for literally 30 to 40 seconds, because fresh pasta should only be cooked for a few minutes. And then they pull it out like that, and you have a fresh pasta sheet. So then they can add a thin sheet of paper to it, plastic, just like that, and they stack them on top of each other. And you in your home can have a fresh pasta lasagna or rollatini or anything else. So that's what we're going to do. Got my spinach going. Just a pair of tongs over there, and I'll start this way. Simply a little sheet pan or baking pan. A little olive oil so your pasta doesn't stick to the sheet pan. Now I know there's some housewives and people out there that would use a Pam spray, a cooking spray, or something like that. And that's also fine. You can use that if you want. For me, I'll take a little bit of olive oil or peanut oil, whatever you like, and just oil up the pan. Very easy. You can save that. So we have our pasta sheet. We have our spinach sauteing lightly. And you just want to wilt it. You don't have to overcook it. When it gets a little bit wilted, I'll touch it with a little bit of salt. Our oiled pan. Our pasta sheet. And I want to make portions for one. So I take the pasta sheet and I cut it in half, and then in half again. And here we go, our first portion. When you lay it out in your sheet pan, you want to lay it so you have a little space to get under it and pick it up with your spatula. Go ahead and lay 2 out here. And I think we'll make 4. We'll make 2 sausage meat sauce and maybe 2 Ford cheese. Okay, I'll do this one. I'll lay that down. And I'll take another pasta sheet because I ripped that one. And I'll do it again. And one more time, we throw that out. So it's really easy at this point. We can add anything we want to this. We can make a vegetable lasagna, open-faced lasagna. We can make a sausage meat. We can make 4 cheese. Turn my spinach up a little bit. And here we go. For my 2 with my bolognese, I have another idea. I just changed my mind. Let's put a little coating under the bottom and squeeze it down. Little coating under the bottom. All right, and squeeze it down. Got that. I hear my spinach crackling, which means it's just about ready. I'll touch it with a little bit of salt. Come on, face it, you need salt. Okay, here we go. We can start off with our spinach. Here and here. Okay, you got to remember that you're going to want cheese in there to hold it all together. So I want a little bit of Parmesan. I want a little bit of mozzarella. And just a little bit. Okay, and we'll throw this a little bit in here. Now over here, we can do the same thing. We'll make it non-meat. I wouldn't say vegan because it has cheese, but we're going to add a little bit of cheese, sauteed spinach. We can add mushrooms to it. Really nice. A little Parmesan on both. I have that block of pecorino I can use. And here we go back with another piece of pasta. Cut it. And you can go both ways. And cut this one this way. We can take the sauteed spinach now and add it to our 4 cheese. I can smell that garlic and the spinach. It's so good. And this is pretty healthy except for the cheese. It's okay. You got to have a little bit of fat. That's why I love Paula Deen so much. She doesn't care how much butter she puts in it. And for this one, we'll add a little bit of blue cheese, crumbled blue, or gorgonzola. And we'll add 1 more pasta sheet. And you can see how fast this is. And something totally different for dinner tonight. You can make this a day ahead and put it out. I'm going to go ahead one more time with my tomato sauce. And we're going to build a slight tower here. Right? Now, for these, I have ricotta now. And I just need a spoon. And, you know, for ricotta cheeses, there's different kind of cheeses. There's Italian-style ricotta. There's ricottas for stuffing cannolis. For me, commercially, I just buy an Italian ricotta and let it go. Lay it in. I do like ricotta in lasagna. But I must say, to be honest, I like the meat a lot more. My wife would take this one, Julie. I would take that one. And my little Andy, he would take Burger King. Got that? 1 more sheet. Ready here. And what do? 4 or 5 minutes, we've got something going already. I'm going to go ahead here. 1 more sheet. I'm going to toss it up with a little fresh mozzarella. And then we're going to place it in the oven. Very, very simple. Very simple. Go ahead. And we can go and on and on and on. Got that. Going here. Get a little mozzarella on this one. So we have a shaved, a fresh, a blue cheese. Right there. A little Parmesan. Remember, these sheets are already cooked, so you don't have to worry about it. They're already done. And all we're going to do is place it in the oven. Before I place it, I'm going to want to top it, though. Top it just a little bit. And then when I top it, when it comes out of the oven, we're simply going to add basil. So into the oven it goes at about 300 degrees for, give it 10 minutes. You take that and just drop it in the oven. We throw that in the oven. And when we come back with the Culinary Experience, let's step into a leftover artichoke that comes delightful. When we come back on our Culinary Experience at the deli counter in Southampton. Hi, it's Michael Mosolino with a Culinary Experience, and welcome back to our leftover show. This is a day where we're taking the leftovers from the kitchen and just making new things with it. So, all right, we've got it while the break. We got our lasagnas out of the oven, and basically I just want to plate them up for you. They're ready to go. This is first our 3-cheese lasagna, and obviously it's not vegetarian because it's on the same tray as the meat. For a vegan person it wouldn't work out, but for our show, for intents and purposes, we're fine. So I have all my cheeses. I got my blue cheese on there. And very easy to pick it up and move it, transfer it to your plate. Really simple, okay? And then for me, I had leftover grilled vegetables from the other day. I made a nice big steak, and I like to do grilled vegetables with it, grilled potatoes, fennel. So just take your grilled vegetables and go ahead and lay it out. This is grilled fennel. It's leftover. It's a leftover show. A little bit of grilled zucchini. You know, you can slightly warm it in your oven. You don't want to overcook it. And just let it go, all right? We have that. You can just redecorate. The cheese melts down a little bit, gets a little crumbly. So just go ahead and add that. A little bit of parsley. Remember, wipe your plate and serve. I mean, that's nice. An open-faced lasagna. Now for our second lasagna, which is our sausage meat sauce, which was our leftover from our polenta, we're going to go ahead and take this. Okay? And I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to go back to my sauce and add a little sauce to the side of the plate. Just like that. You can see, just add a little bit here and there. Very simple. Add it down and move it around. Oh boy. For a big hefty guy who loves lasagna, this is a really quick fix to a lasagna. Take this. You may even be able to find this in, noodles in a citarella somewhere if you're like that. Any gourmet market would have it. And a nice little zucchini. Again, we need a little bit of this, a little parsley or basil because it's Italian. So I like to stick with the authentic portion of what we're making. Done. And a little of this. And if you really want to get jiggy with it, you find your Pecorino Romano, which we have somewhere. Pecorino Romano is right here. And you go ahead and peel it again. Do you want to get really artistic with it? Boy, this is a pleasing. Hey guys, you could do this for your wife. You sneak home early one day and do this for your wife. Boy, would she be surprised. Okay, so then you have your sausage meat lasagna, open-faced lasagna. The pasta sheets get a little crackly when you put them in the oven. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, we did it. It's done. Let's move on.
Michael, how long did we bake the lasagna for?
The lasagna is about 15 minutes. 15 minutes for the lasagna in the oven. Good question.
At 350?
350 would be the highest you'd want to go because you have to remember the pasta sheets are already cooked. So you really want about 300, 250, 300, 15 minutes. And the telltale sign really is when you see the browning on the pasta sheet, you really know you're there. It's all done for you. Great question. Thank you. Also, thank you for your emails. You can keep emailing us with your questions and recipe comments at www.culinaryexperience.tv is the website. Or send an email with a requested recipe to info@culinaryexperience.tv. And we usually get back to you pretty quick, unless we're on vacation. All right, so this is done. You know, again, you could refrigerate this and have it the next day again. Absolutely wonderful. All right. Now we're going to step into another leftover dish, which I love. All right, here I am with artichokes. Artichokes are like... they're either good or they're bad. You go to the store, and lately I've gone to stores and found absolutely wilted artichokes. There's only one place I do find a nice, good, fresh artichoke, and that's at Schmidt's Market in Southampton. Absolutely wonderful artichoke. And these are gorgeous. These are gorgeous artichokes that I got in, and I steam them, or I poach them. There's a lot of different methods for it, but let me tell you how I do it. I take the artichoke just as it is. Take it into a pot of salted water. Pot of water, just a little touch of salt, and submerge it. But I submerge it head down. And then I add a little lemon juice to the water, and then I put something on top of the artichoke to keep it in the water. I bring the water up to not a rolling boil, very light boil, and I turn it down to a simmer so the water is just poached water. That's how you make an artichoke. When you want to test the artichoke, you take it out of the water and you poke it with a knife. And if the knife goes in fairly easy, then it's done. Remember that the artichoke continues to cook as it sits draining. Take it out, put it on your sheet pan, and let it drain upside down. Get all the water from in here out. All right, now let's start with artichokes. First thing we want to do is I'm going to make a stuffing for our artichoke, which is what I call a Panzanella stuffing. So I'm going to take my bread, and I need my serrated knife, which I have right here, and I'm going to cut my bread up just to make a fresh crouton. This is a Tuscan Wenner bread, and I do love this. I use it for all kinds of stuffing. On one of our upcoming shows, we're going to be making Argentinian baked clams that are absolutely wonderful, and we use this bread for that also because it's a light, airy Tuscan-style bread. And keep watching for that show coming up, Argentinian baked clams. I go to a lot of restaurants and I find a baked clam that I find pathetic. No flavor, no clam, all breading, a little bit of cheese, and I don't accept it. So I came up with this clam called Argentinian baked clam that's wonderful on our upcoming show. Here we go. We need a sheet pan, which we have right here. All we want to do is toast these off in the oven. So we lay them out, and this is the absolute base of this stuffing. So here we go. If Matt or Savina could put this in the oven for me, it's right in front of us. Toast it off. We want a crackling toast. We don't want any moisture in this at all. So you want to wait until it's almost overdone. About 10 minutes. Here we go. Let's start with artichokes. Very important. To me, the stem is the best part. I love the stem. So I take the stem and put it aside. Take the stem, put it aside, and do it again. And I usually cut the end off the stem. Now, artichokes. Have you ever bought an artichoke and cooked it and found it to be so bitter that you can't eat it? Well, don't take it back to the store. It's not their fault. They didn't grow the artichoke. It just happens. You can't cook it in sugar water to help it. It's just a bitter artichoke, which is really a bitter vegetable anyway. Now, we got the head of the artichoke. We want to take that off. Cut it down. Very simple. Discard. One more. Okay. Discard. And one more. Now, when we come back from this break, we are going to create a Panzanella stuffing, an Italian stuffing with vegetable. When we come right back, I'll show you how you take all the insides out of the artichokes and get ready with a Panzanella stuffing on a Culinary Experience. Okay, welcome back to Culinary Experience, the leftover show. Here we go. So we've got our artichoke out. I just pulled it apart, and the way to get the choke out, which is the middle part in the middle, I take a spoon and just kind of cut it open and drop it out like that. Take the choke out, okay? Show you one more. Here's the middle of the artichoke. Pull it out. Some of these leaves you won't need. You don't require them. Take the back of a spoon and pull out the choke. Just get under it and drop it out. This is the hair that would choke you for the artichoke, and you don't want it. Okay, so I got a little bit more in there. I missed some. Done. And we got one more. Okay, so this is a real quick dish to make, and we're going to make it really quick as we tend to run out of time. I get a little overexcited about what we're making, and I go on too long. Here we go. One more choke. Done. Now this, we just set aside. Here comes the fun part. I've got a pan, skillet already going, and what I'm going to do is chop up some vegetables really quick. I got mushrooms I'm going to quarter right here. So we're making a Panzanella stuffing. For all intents and purposes, it's a Panzanella stuffing. It can be used in a lot of things. Throw some mushrooms in. You don't have to go as fast as I go, but I got Matt and Savina telling me how much time I have left. All right, we got a little asparagus. So we're going to take about 4 things of asparagus, cut them up, throw the stems away. Then I have a little bit of yellow squash, and I want to leave them a little bit large. Okay, so we simply take and dice, throw them in. Okay, throw them in. Take another one of those and a green zucchini. Cut it down the middle, turn it quarter turn, cut it again, and you got a little nice dice. We're going to throw this in. Throw that in. Do one more of this. And our croutons are still in the oven. If you remember, we put them in a few minutes ago. And we need about 10 minutes on them to crisp them up. So what we're going to do is take all of our vegetables out. And we're going to saute them, bring them out, and add them to our breadcrumb. Along with, of course, you know me, a little Parmesan, fresh waxed beans, yellow beans, and a little bit of string bean. And I'm just going to line them up like little soldiers, cut the end off, throw them in. You see how long I left them? There's a reason. I want them to hang out of the artichoke. Is there anything I forgot? Yeah. How about some tomato? The tomato will give it a nice consistency and wetten the stuffing. Take that. All right, so far, for all you who know me really well, I haven't added something. Garlic. Gotta have garlic. Okay, so I'm just gonna and I'm gonna sliver it. Use your knuckle as a guide. Watch your fingers. Very simple. Throw it right in. And then I have my artichoke stems. You never want to waste these. These are wonderful. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut them and give them a half a slice. When you're slicing them, when you get down to the bottom, if it feels tough, then just leave that aside. You don't want that. You want the nice, smooth, cooked artichoke stem. And this all feels really good to me. Go ahead and add that. Oh, yeah. We're going to let that go for a minute. Got my vegetables sauteing really at a fast pace. You can really hear that pan sizzling. We used to say, let the BTUs roll, baby. That's the British thermal units of the flame. And that's the fun part right here. You know, getting that sound down. I have a little white wine. I'm going to throw that in. A pinch of salt, because you're really going to need that. Pinch of salt and a little bit for love. The white wine, we want to cook down for a minute so that when we add this all together, we don't have the raw flavor of white wine, but we have a cooked flavor of white wine. You'll see in the end how I get the vegetables to hang out this artichoke, and then we throw it in the oven and it melts down, and when it's served, it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, we want the vegetables a little bit al dente, almost done. Savina, if you could throw me those croutons, we'll throw this together. Vegetables are almost done as it is. We're going to throw our croutons into a glass bowl. Beautiful. Throw this here. I can smell the wine. You can smell it, so delicious. We got that in our bowl. Okay, turn that off. Boy, this is really easy. Leftovers, huh? My croutons are here. This is, again, a panzanella type stuffing. We're going to save this sheet pan because I'm going to add my artichokes to it. Okay, I got vegetables. I've got the croutons, a little fresh mozzarella, grated. Okay, and then a little Parmesan Reggiano. You know what? A little pecorino. Gotta love it. Use what you have. In today's world, you need to use what you have. I will definitely need a couple of gloves to get my hands into this in stuffing. And we're just going to toss it in. The cheese will melt from the vegetables are being so hot, and it will combine it together. It will form a little bit of a stuffing for us. I lost some cheese. I'm going to add a little bit more. Excuse me for reaching over. A little bit more. It smells amazing. You know, the thing about vegetables, if there's guys out there that don't like vegetables, the great thing is you can add a little cheese into it, and at least they'll eat it. All right, we're going to let that sit for 1 minute. And the gloves are here. I'll use some gloves because you really have to stuff this by hand. Then we're going to bake this in the oven. About 10 minutes at 300 degrees. And, I mean, you don't have to because you have a cooked product here. But what I like to do is I like to stuff the artichoke, Then eat the inside of the artichoke, the stuffing. And when that's done, take a wonderful dressing and go ahead and take the leaf out and you dip it in the dressing and you eat it. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's a whole meal. So we're going to go ahead and stuff. What I like to see is all the vegetables coming out of the artichoke. Just pouring right out. Right? Lay it out. Make it look grand. If you can get the asparagus to come out, let the asparagus come out. The artichoke is delicious. Not bitter at all. Stuff it again. Get it all in there. Try and get a tomato in it. And again, lay it out. And let all those vegetables just hang out, raw looking. You want your food to look real earthy, real like you just tossed it in there. You don't want it to be too pretty, too fake. That. We're done there. Okay. And again, top it. Oh boy. A guy who would hate vegetables would even go for this. Okay? In your oven, 300 degrees, 10 minutes. Bring it out, it's ready to serve. This is Michael Mosolino from A Culinary Experience with our leftover dinners, our leftover show. Enjoy. Bon appetit.
Michael Mosolino's Culinary Experience is brought to you by The Deli Counter, Fine Foods and Catering, 623 Hampton Road, Southampton, New York.